Hi, I'm Dr. Jessica Vogelsang from PawCurious.com. I wanted to spend the next couple of blog posts talking about my experience with the Iams Pet Health and Nutrition Center, which I was invited to tour last week. I don't have any affiliation with Iams or Procter & Gamble. I'm just an animal lover like everybody else out there who was invited to come and see the facility. So I wanted to give sort of my unbiased opinion of what I saw there. I have a degree from the University of California, Davis. In 2002, I was the only student to graduate with an emphasis in lab animal medicine, so I do feel pretty comfortable talking about the issues of animal welfare and lab animal research, so I did have that in mind when I was looking through the facility. One of the things that came up for me, and with anyone I think when they hear the name Iams, is the very infamous Iams Cruelty video that Peta made in 2003 and is still circulating around the web. I did want to share what Iams' response was to that, and what I'm going to do is just kind of show you some highlights from that video and go through and kind of put it in a little bit of context. So for a little bit of background, in case anybody hasn't seen this, in the early 2000s, Iams had been contracting out some of their animal research work. Among some of the places was the Sinclair Research Facility. Iams had decided, rightfully so, that they wanted to incorporate some enrichment into the lives of the animals that lived there, and so they hired someone whose job was specifically to improve animal welfare conditions, to create a socialization and enrichment program for these animals. The person that they hired ended up being a PETA activist who, instead of using that time to improve their lives, actually used the time to take video not only of the animals that were there with the Iams company, but from other companies that also were contracting with that facility. This is a group of beagles that had a muscle biopsy performed. It's a very quick procedure. They were all waking up together, which is not uncommon when you're doing a large number of pets all at the same time. I mean, you would see something very similar in a high-volume spay-neuter rescue type situation as well. It's easier for a technician to monitor many pets at once, all recovering together. This is a pet that had just been spayed. She's covered not in blood, but in iodine, standard procedure, surgical scrub. A lot of the pets that appear to be agitated are in the process of recovering from anesthesia, and if you've ever worked in a veterinary clinic, you know that they can seem like they're under quite a bit of distress when they're actually just in a really what we call a dysphoric state. So it's not as bad as it may appear. So I don't think anybody argues the fact that these were less than ideal circumstances. You know, the Iams took to heart a lot of the problems that people had with that. In the last 10 years, they have really taken the whole idea of animal welfare to heart and made leaps and bounds in terms of how they use animals in research, and I think it's something that they really should be proud of. I will go into detail in a future post about the Pet Health and Nutrition Center, about how they have gone away from the more traditional models of lab animal research and really started to use pets in clinical research trials that live at home. There's no disease induction. Any pets that are part of a research trial that have disease are ones that developed it on their own. These pets are well taken care of. They're under the care of a behaviorist who has a comprehensive socialization and enrichment program for them to have a really good quality of life, and that's something that anybody who has questions about Iams and how they take care of their animals, you know, you should feel confident in the fact that they take their animal welfare seriously. For those of you who aren't familiar, hi Apollo, and
pose in your light.